name is Sophie Lavender, and I am a photographer and stand-up comedian, meaning I like to shoot people and then laugh about it. What I don't usually say, however, is that I also have autism and ADHD, because when I talk about autism and ADHD, there's a lot of negative stereotypes about people like me. Or when I first tell someone I'm autistic, they can typically come out with, "But you don't look autistic." Well, not all of us can look like Sheldon Cooper. Some of us have to be ginger. I do, however, have my bus pass, which I've nicknamed my autism license. The theory was a little difficult to get my head around, but as soon as my hands took the wheel, everything fit into place. The other passengers, however, weren't too happy about it. But there are several problematic myths on autism, such as autistic people can't make friends, which is silly, because you're here. And autistic people are stupid, but I've never lost a board game. And autistic people can't find love, but try to tell that to the Nutella jar at home. What I'm trying to say is that even though there are parts of Sheldon Cooper I can relate to, such as counting the stairs as I climb up them and having a dedicated spot on the sofa, myself and other members of the autism community see him as quite insulting. But there are far more deeper cuts in society in regards to autism than a sitcom character, such as the belief that autism is caused by vaccines and can be cured with bleach. Now, I don't know about you, but someone who has had their medical license stripped shouldn't be listened to. And if you wanted to give your kid bleach, why don't you try some? I mean, if it's good for them, it's good for you, right? Would you let your chlorine shaken or stirred, Mom? They say autistic people aren't funny, but I swear one of you just laughed. And if you're still listening, please give yourself a huge round of applause for being able to concentrate on something longer than I ever have. Moving on to the story behind my talk. When I was 15, a therapist came to my house. The clicker has not worked, but it's okay, because this was rehearsed. When I was 15, a therapist came to my house, and I told him all sorts of stuff about how certain color combinations, like pink and red together, make me cringe, and like how I like to line everything up, which is great when cleaning the bathroom, but not so great when I have a panic attack and decide to rearrange all the furniture in my room. And how when I feel happy, I start to impersonate happy feet and horizontal window blinds. He looked at me with a puzzled look on his face. I went, I'm going to give you the wired monkey test. Wired monkey test. Now, that had me on all levels, including spiritually stunned. What was the wired monkey test? The wired monkey test was a printout from the Wired magazine website for the Autistic Quotient Test, or the AQ test for short. And I scored over 30. And to put that in simpler terms, I'd like to quote fellow autistic comedian Michael McCreary and say that means my brain is officially a diagonally parked car in a parallel universe. But as everything absolutely has to be researched long before any test, I went into my room and I Googled wired monkey, and I accidentally came across a study done by Harry Harlow on love and attachment. Now, what Harry did is that he got a cage full of live baby monkeys with one monkey made of cloth and one monkey made of wire to see which monkeys the live babies preferred more when it came to feeding. And despite the electric shocks they got from the cloth monkey, which resembled their mother, they still kept coming back for more. And I could relate to that so much because I was abused by someone I thought I could trust. And I'm not going to cry because this makeup was too damn expensive. But yeah, as much as that person who I thought I trusted hurt me and at times even tried to kill me, I still admired them. Every time he hit me, I spent another hour hidden in my room. And every time he would pin me down on the floor, yes, it's too expensive. Jeffree Star is not cheap. and every time he would pin me down on the floor and spit on my face and tell me not to talk about it, it's making me more scared to speak up. And even now, as you can tell, this never happened in rehearsals. I still get really scared about speaking up, but despite the anxiety I persist, and I persist against the trauma and the PTSD because this is important. And I will speak up against injustice and prejudice with a passion despite the anxiety. They say that autistics can't feel empathy. But if that was true, why do I feel everything so intensely? Like when you first saw your dog as a puppy, or when it was the World Cup semi-finals last year and it felt like your own balls were in your mouth the entire match. Or like when you and your autistic friends get together and discover trains, and suddenly the concept of modern engineering and schedule change together becomes the closest thing to heaven. But here's a quick fact. 2% of people worldwide are redheads. 2% of people in the UK are queer. 1 in 100 are autistic. I'm all 3. But I'm not going to let the unfortunate circumstance of being ginger stop me from achieving my dreams. In fact, after surviving what could have easily have been an episode of Crime Watch, I can't let anything stop me. In June 2010, the Journal of Child Neurology found that humor is a great tool to help autistic people connect with others and therefore help with any communication issues. In fact, it wasn't until I started doing stand-up comedy, January last year, that I fully learned how to properly have conversations, connect with people, mix, and socialize. So all those years at theatre school were basically wasted until I was able to present my sassy side to an audience and call it comedy. But yeah, as I grew into an adult, I truly discovered the strength that comes with being on the autistic spectrum. We can be truly fearless individuals. We are resilient. We love with all the lights turned on. We can be independent thinkers and non-judgmental listeners. We love like it's Disneyland, and our passions drive us like Formula One, not stopping until we've reached the finish line and pop open the champagne. Take Greta Thunberg, for example. A truly inspirational young autistic woman has led the whole world into taking the climate crisis more seriously by using the greatest traits we can have as autistic people. Passion, a desire for knowledge, our drive, and our need to fix things. Not like a single puzzle piece that doesn't fit, but actually a piece that is part of a bigger puzzle, one that we are all a part of. And no, it's not our collective love of cheese, cats, or being the little spoon. It's the desire to make things better. To explain further, growing up was quite a strange experience. My abuser was racist, homophobic, ableist, pretty much didn't like anybody that wasn't him. But no matter what he said about minorities, I just couldn't bring it to myself to believe him. He'd say one thing, and I would go out and I'd research another and find the truth for myself. No matter how I thought I loved my abuser, his words did not make a home in my his harsh words did not make a home in my soul. So why is this? Well, at 15, when that therapist came to my house proving you can still look cool in Converse at 50, I was open to him about all sorts, and together we discovered many things. Now, openness in society is seen as a great thing, and that is until the autistic person like me tells you their pee went green after a can of Monster energy drink, or when I have a hyper moment and start confessing what goes on my internet history at 3 a.m. Bondage. So, the reason that I believe that I didn't absorb his toxic traits was down to emotional strength. Now, there's a lot of negative talk on autism, such as a problematic stereotypes, and the media likes to put us all into the same box where you're white, straight, male, brunette, math genius, autistic savant. But that isn't the case for most of us. But there is one trait that I have personally seen in every single autistic person that I have met, and that really is emotional strength. We can be tough as hell deep down. We've had to endure being bullied by both children and adults. We've had to climb our way out of these problematic stereotypes and away from the problematic anti-vaxxers with their Dermatos cocktail recipes they probably found on Mumsnet. I know autistics who have been chased into nettles and set on fire. A study in Sweden showed that autistic girls are more likely to be sexually abused than non-autistic girls. And a study at the British University of Columbia showed that 70% of autistic people will most likely develop a comorbid disorder, such as anxiety and depression, because of the traumas we face. But every time we face these traumas, we seem to find the strength to pick ourselves up, brush off the dust, and carry on. We really are truly resilient individuals. And we have been through a lot as a community. But our loyalty, our punctuality, and our occasional quirkiness can truly make us the best of friends if only you'd give us a chance. Don't believe me? Talk to us. Hang out with us. Talk to us, and we will tell you. And despite the unemployment gap, autistic people still find ways to turn their passions into opportunities, and it's amazing. I know autistic people that are training to be tattoo artists, autistic people who are hired to make high-quality costumes and cosplay outfits. I know one autistic guy has made a whole career from video gaming, and a close friend of mine goes around universities educating students on autism, and that's fantastic. I love photography, and next year I am planning to do a degree here to turn my passion into a potential career. I truly believe that it was down to my own positive traits combined that stopped the cycle of abuse. My autism, per se growing up, was my shield against absorbing the toxic rubbish that I have faced from my abuser and from other people. Now, it's very easy to say that I didn't believe what he was said about other people, but I still believed everything he said about me. That I'm lazy, stupid, worthless, retard. But it wasn't until I met other autistic people through college that I was able to unlock my emotional strength. They helped me become the person I am today, along with my amazing mother, who is always super supportive. And I'm not done. There is one more joke. God damn it, I'm staying here until all the jokes are done. All right. She's got a round of applause. Wait for mine. But it wasn't until that I connected with other autistic people that I learned the most important lesson of all: self-love. And autistic people can teach us all things we need to learn. Our emotional strength and our strong emotional empathy means we truly care and we truly strive for the good, even in a world that doesn't want us, until they need their computers fixing. My name is Sophie Lavender. This talk was written at 3 a.m. on a hospital bed, and I am very honored to be here today. And together we can truly discover the beauty of neurodiversity. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.